We're #1 in 8 media verticals, top 3 in 20. And as much as I'd like to think I'm here because of my American football career, it's probably because we're #1 in sports worldwide, with over 94 million unique users every month. One of the keys to a successful sports experience is, of course, a massive amount of content. So we have partnerships with just about everybody in this room and around the world. All sorts of sports events, from the NFL to the NBA, rugby, cricket, Formula 1, tennis, etc. And we also have original content. About 10 to 20% of our content is original. We have dozens of bloggers, editors. We have 71 expert blogs in Europe alone. And so we combine the two to try to create a very, very rich and comprehensive sports experience. We obviously want to partner with as many people as we can to have the content available to our consumers. The other side of the equation for us is advertising. So it's an entirely advertising-supported business model that we have, and we partner very closely with agencies and advertisers around the world to try to figure out how to deliver their marketing message in a high-impact way that hopefully is additive to the consumer experience and not overly disruptive. So we're kind of working on both sides to try to provide an optimal experience for the consumer.
Let's just go a little bit deeper into those ways that people can work with you guys.
Yeah, so four thoughts for you all on how we think about the future of sports online. The first is maximizing content, the second is personalizing content, building brands online, and then being everywhere. So it's pretty straightforward to get content and put it on your sports site, put it on your sports channel. But the challenge, we think, is to figure out how do you take that content and infuse it throughout your digital experience. How do you leverage that into offline, creating buzz, creating viral activities, and really make the most out of an event. So the case study I'll use is what we did around the World Cup. And we of course had a World Cup site, extensive coverage on our sports, but also had it on our homepage, Flickr, Answers, Mail, our celebrity site, and really infused it throughout everything. We also partnered with Havas Sports to do offline goalkeeper penalty shootouts. They created a lot of local buzz, was covered by local television stations, we posted online, and really got a lot of kind of viral excitement in various sites around the world.
I follow a football club whose goalkeeper has been so offline for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So I know all about this.
and it was an online game as well. And another thing we did that we think was very clever was we hired David Beckham to be our global sports ambassador. And we created an event which was a live interview with David Beckham. We had users from around the world compete to be part of the live studio audience, and then they also could offer questions online. And I'll show you a quick video of this, but we think allowed us to take what fundamentally was sports content and turn it into celebrity content, lifestyle content, and really take it off Yahoo and create an enormous amount of. I talked about having massive amounts of content and maximizing it, and the problem with that for a consumer is content overload. And so you probably can all remember when it was pretty cool to do a search and see that there were 2 million results. What the hell are you supposed to do with 2 million results, right? And you could spend your whole life reading just about Barcelona football if you wanted to. So the challenge is to filter that content and make it personally relevant. So let me talk about 3 ways of accomplishing that. The first is what I'll call mass personalization. So one of the things we've learned, Yahoo turned 16 years old last week, and over the years we've learned that while people want a very relevant experience, they're not willing to configure it. So very few people will actually go in and say, I like this, I don't like that, give me more of that and less of that. So we have to figure out how to do that for them, which is quite a technical challenge. So it requires putting all of your content on a grid, having algorithms that learn what someone likes at an individual level and doesn't like, and being able to serve that all up in real time. So that's, we've rewired Yahoo to be able to provide that, and we think that's really the future of this personal experience. The second is social. And so in the sports context, in addition to wanting expert opinion and the facts of the games, people also want to hear what other fans are saying about the game. They want to be connected with other fans. We acquired a company called Citizen Sports last year, which is a leader in connecting fans across multiple social networks and devices. And I'll show here what fans chatted about Manchester United using iPhone apps across Facebook. And so another filter, another way to get the content very, very personal is connecting these fans across wherever they may be, mobile, social networks, etc. And the third aspect is local. So it's easy to get content and information on the big national and international sporting teams and events. But our vision is someday Little League games should be part of a Yahoo experience and something that you can easily see and consume online. Also the long tail of sports, and there's some pretty esoteric sports out there. And so there's a new concept called crowdsourcing, and we also acquired a company in this space last year called Associated Content, where we have 500,000 individual contributors out there submitting content to us that lets us cover things that we would never otherwise be able to cover. So we envision a day when whatever sport you're interested in, from the biggest international teams to the smallest local teams to the most esoteric sports, are all relevant to you and part of your experience. A couple of years ago, mobile was really, I would say, sort of a dream in terms of really having an experience. And over the last 2 years, primarily with the adoption of the iPhone, the mobile internet has now become very real and has become a very real place to consume sports content and to advertise. There'll be over 1 billion mobile internet users by 2013, and there'll be 50 million tablets sold just this year. And so for all of us, it's how do you make mobile not an extra thing to do, but core to your offering, to your experience, and to your strategy? We announced last month here in Barcelona at the Mobile World Congress our new app for the iPad. Well, fantasy is a huge part of our experience, and something that people really engage with, and people spend unbelievable amounts of time on their fantasy teams. And so that's a really important part of our strategy. We continue to roll it out globally and across more sports.